All right, so I want to make this video kind of short because I'm about to be getting ready to get pretty busy pretty soon, and it shouldn't be that long of a topic. But I've been praying and asking God to show me exactly what is really going on in the world, pertaining to the things that's happening in DC with the Trump administration. It just don't make sense what he's doing, right? Like, he say it's over one thing, but if you look at the data, it don't really make sense for him to take it that far, right? So whenever something don't make sense, especially when they give you one reason and it's like, okay, man, like, I get what you saying, but for you to take it that far, is something else going on that nobody really want to say. And we all know that the Trump administration is targeting black communities. We all know that. This ain't just a war out on Americans. No, this is a war out on the black communities. We know this, okay? Even white people know this. They can see this, man. It's just sometimes they feel like it might not be in their place to stand up and say something about it. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, you do not have to be a black person to talk about these kind of issues. In fact, we would appreciate it if more of y'all actually stood up for us and stuff like that, because like how racism used to be, it's not gonna fly no more. White people will not have that no more. Like to hire administrative people, like they might be still like that, but our neighbors and stuff like that, like it might be few and far in between when you see a lot of our neighbors like that. Some of them might be converted back to that. Some of them have always been that way. And it's just because it's not necessarily legal like how it used to be. They just got to put up with it. But too many white Americans have had too much time to see us as people. And it's not going to work the way these government administrations want it to work. But it's a reason why racism and slavery and all of that stuff has happened. And I don't think anybody is going to understand this. But black Americans are the tribe of Judah from the Bible. Our government administrations know this. This is public information. You just got to look in books and documents from 1920 and 1850 and stuff like that, right? Like, they're not going to say this because this don't go along with the current narrative right now. But what is the real reason why these government administrations are targeting black communities? I asked the Lord to show me what's really going on. He brought one scripture to my memory. That's why it pays to at least know what's in your Bible, right? So that way when you need answers, he can just tell you. So let's start the book of Exodus. And the children of Yasharel, which is the real name of Israel. Okay, Israel's real name is Yasharel. If y'all hear me saying Yasharel, I just need you to know that, because that's how I'm reading it on my scriptures. And that's how I'm going to end up saying it to not throw myself off. And the children of Yasharel bore fruit and increased very much, multiplied and became very strong. And the land was filled with them. Washington, D.C. is filled with black people. In fact, it's mostly black people there. Then a new sovereign rose over Mitzrayim, which is Egypt. If you hear me say Mitzrayim, it's Egypt. That's how I'm reading it here. Then a new sovereign rose, okay, I just say Egypt, rose over Egypt, who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, see, the people of the children of Israel, well, which I said was Yasharel, I'll just say Israel, are more and stronger than we. Let's read that again. And he said to his people, see, the people of the children of Israel are more and stronger than we. Come, let us act wisely toward them. That's what he brought to my memory. Come, let us deal wisely with them. Let us deal wisely with them. You remember that? You remember that? You remember that? Go back to the book of Exodus. Go read this again. Come, let us act wisely toward them, lest they increase. This is about to put the icing on the cake right here. And it shall be when fighting befalls us, as in war, that they shall join our enemies and fight against us, and shall go out of the land. So they appointed slave masters, which is the National Guards. And look, it's a lot of war going on right now. The U.S. has been threatened with a lot of war. And one thing they know, if they go to war again, especially over some mess they started, we ain't going. And they know that. And so they think, well, maybe they'll just join our enemies and fight against us. Bad enough the land is filled with them. I mean, bad enough these are hardy people who can endure. There ain't not one people group on the world who could have put up with as much slave labor as we did. Not one people in the world that can do that. In the burning heat, too, on top of that. And think about the burning heat out there in Egypt. It ain't not one people group in the world that could do that. Even regular everyday Africans couldn't have done that. No, they had to go get Hebrew slaves to do that because them are hardy people. Even in the book of Exodus, it even said the Hebrew women are more hardy than us. And so they just give birth like it's nothing. When Pharaoh told the midwives to make sure that the firstborn of the Hebrew males were unalived, and if it's a daughter you can leave her alive, and then the midwives let Moses slip through the cracks. But one thing they forgot, Moses always slipped through the cracks, and all it took was one Moses to lead the people. We got 100,000 of them. 100,000. All we want is peace. Okay. We don't want division. We don't want none of that. All we want is peace. Like, y'all really don't have to take matters as far as y'all want to take them, but y'all know something is coming to this country that y'all don't really want to say, and y'all think that each and every one of us is going to side with your enemies. That's what you really think. We don't want to fight none of y'all's wars. We don't want to fight on y'all enemy sides, and we definitely don't want to fight on y'all side. Because most of these wars don't gotta happen. Y'all just overreach too much. And then y'all can bring the story to us as if, oh, we gotta stand up for our country. It's like, man, shut up. Shut up. Come, let us act wisely toward them, lest they increase. And it shall be when fighting befalls us, that they shall join our enemies and fight against us, and shall go up out of the land. They read the Bible prophecies when the Bible talked about how he was going to call his children of Judah and Israel out of the land of their captivity. Okay? What you know as Israel right now has never been driven across the world specifically due to captivity. That only fit one people group in this whole world. They read the books of the prophets when they prophesied this very thing. When he called us out of the land of our captivity, and we plunder the nations and leave with great substance. And so before any of that happened, come, let us deal wisely with them. And there's one thing in the Bible that I really want you to put a connecting piece on right here. This might sound a little off topic, but how is he going to drag us out of these lands of our captivity? I've seen in the book of Matthew, I think the book of Luke, how he said that he was going to send out his angels to the four winds, which is the four corners of the earth, and gather his people from the house of Judah and Israel, and take them from one end of the heaven to the other end of the heaven. That's why Donald Trump started a space force. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I know that sound like a stretch. Like, okay, so you basically telling me that we think an alien invasion is going to happen, and really they coming to pick y'all up. That's what I believe, okay? I'm not saying that that's what that means, but when the Bible talk about from one end of the heaven to the other, it's like, okay, and he gonna send his angels to do that. We might mistake that as an invasion. Just look, not knowing who the real children of Israel and Judah really are will cause you to miss a lot of important Bible prophecy. It'll cause you to overlook things because you think it don't matter for today. It'll cause you to not understand things, and because you don't understand it, you overlook it. It'll cause you to put pieces in places that don't exist, and because it don't make sense, like, you just overlook that. But this right here is the missing piece to so much Bible prophecy that we've been overlooking all these days. Who the real children of Judah and Israel really are. Come, let us deal wisely with them. Come, let us deal wisely with them. That's what's really going on. Trying to deal wisely with it. Trying to get on top of these things before these things happen. That's how it's always been. The devil has always tried to front run prophecy before God can fulfill it, in order to make it look like that's what he's doing. And really, that ain't even it. That's what 1948 was all about. The only problem is the rest of the prophecy that was a part of that same package deal never even happened, such as there were no war no more. It's been war since then. Such as Christ will return. I ain't seen him yet. Like y'all really got to understand this. I know this sound crazy. I do. But the truth is crazy when the whole world is founded in lies. But other than that, it was something else I wanted to say too. Oh. But the more they afflicted them, the more they increased and grew, and they were in dread of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with harshness, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all kinds of work in the field. All their work which they made them do was with harshness. The more badly they get treated, the more they increase. Like, you see how history repeats itself? I almost wondered why, like, how come they increase the worse they get treated? Because they tend to bond together a little bit more. People end up choosing love and family over anything because we got, and next thing you know is childbirth all across the whole nation of people. Because when life is easy, people ain't really thinking about having babies all like that. They trying to have fun. But when life is hard, you realize all you got is you and like who you with. Like, you gotta think about that. But like I said, I didn't really want to make this video too long, but I do want to make y'all aware of this. I really do. You need to know this. Come, let us deal wisely with them. That has been on my mind since I seen all this happening. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go with this. I know exactly what this is. I know exactly what this is. Like, I don't know if y'all remember this, but do y'all remember when Trump was running up against Hillary? Like, let's take it back. All the way back to 2016. Do y'all not remember all those racist remarks? Like, do y'all not remember that? It was like after he got in, it's like all of that changed. Every president usually show you their real reason for being there, their second term, if they get a second term. They never do all that stuff when they first term. They do all the stuff that won't, cause much of an uproar on their first term. They get all the pieces in place. Second term, let's do the thing. It's always like that. That's why I keep telling people who claim to be saved, anything, like, leave all this politics stuff alone. Because at the end of the day, the Messiah said, if my kingdom was of this world, my servants would fight for it. And I was watching way too many of y'all claiming to be saved folk fighting over Democrat, Republican, and this. I'm like, just leave it all alone. No, because God think that we should be involved. I'm like, this ain't our business. Like, honestly, it's not. If my kingdom was of this world, my servants would fight for it. I can understand you having an opinion. I can understand you having personal views, but when you fighting with brothers over politics, you don't even know you arguing over what slave master you want. And you really don't see it that way. But it's going to be a matter of time before y'all do. And the saddest part about this is that regular, everyday white Americans, they are going to feel the effects of this. Have mercy on your neighbor for what they and their people have not been through before. We always been through this. We always been through financial hardship and lack and just an impossible way to even get up in life. This is about to start affecting everybody. And you're going to see a lot of people that never been through things like this before lose their mind. Have mercy on your neighbor, man, because they don't know what this is like. Our people have lived like this forever, since we've been here. And our people are the only people who never asked to be in this country. Everybody else asked to be here. We didn't. Like, even when they talked about sending us back to Africa, they chose not to. Like, they don't want to get rid of us. But, like, they didn't care about getting rid of the Mexicans. They didn't care about, like, getting rid of anybody. I guarantee you, if we all got up and walked out of here, they would have a fit. Like, no, where do y'all think y'all going? We need y'all here. We need somebody to be on top of. The real reason is this. They don't want us to wake up and realize who we are, because that means game on. Game on in the spirit world. They don't want that. They need us in sin. They need us in hip hop. They need us in drill music. They need us looking like a buffoon on TV. They need us doing all this unrighteousness. Because us being bound in all this unrighteousness keeps Satan's kingdom going. The last people they want standing up and realizing who they are is us. Because that would mean what? Game on. And they can't have that. And the only option is a self-inflicted option, honestly. It's like, okay, so we can let them wake up and realize who they are and it's game on, or we can press them with hard bondage and then they cry out to God and realize who they are and it's still game on. Either option they have, it's game on. But one of these days, y'all gonna wake up and y'all gonna cry out to God, and when he hear a pure cry, our people don't ever cry out to God. Everybody else cry out to God except us. Because everybody else came by way of faith. It was hard for the natural branch to come by way of faith because, well, I'm a bloodline descendant. So I don't need faith. Like, that's why you see all these Hebrew Israelites out on the street reading the Bible with the wrong spirit. Like they think that the Holy Spirit is for everybody but them. Like they think being born again is for the Gentiles, not them. But one of these days you're going to realize I need to be saved no matter who I am. And when he hear a pure cry, when one too many of your brothers get did wrong by the police, ain't no more marching, ain't no more protesting. And we definitely can't win by fighting back in the flesh. We can only do this by way of the Spirit. We can only do this in the Spirit. That's the only thing that's going to solve our problems, period. Like, ain't no waging no wars, ain't no starting no militias, no none of that. That's not going to work. We can only do this by way of the Spirit. We can only do this full of the Spirit. We can only do this by crying out to God to come and get us out of here. Get us out of here. And just like a mixed multitude left Egypt with Israel the first time, a mixed multitude coming out this time. We the only people that got sent back to Egypt in ships. I dare you to go over to the land of Israel and try to get to Egypt in a ship. Like, it ain't nothing but sand and wilderness the whole way there. Egypt is this place, the United States. You've seen the back of the dollar bill. Like an obelisk is nothing but a tall pyramid. We the only people group that got sent back to Egypt in ships and made to do hard bondage 400 years. When Stephen was being stoned to death, he was getting ready to prophesy this. No, he wasn't telling them what did happen. He was telling them what would happen. Just go back and read the Bible. He started off telling them what did happen. And then soon as he got ready to say what would happen, he took his last breath. Everybody knows who we are but us. But us. The whole world is groaning right now, waiting on you to do something. Stand up, man. But that's all I got to say, man. It's about time for me to get out of here. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Peace.